Hey everyone, this is Dr. Python JavaScript, and today we're going to go ahead and work with Axios within a Node.js runtime environment. So without further ado, the first thing I want to do is open up the command terminal, right? It's right over here, and we can go ahead and cd into our desktop folder. Great. Once we're in our desktop folder, let's go ahead and make a directory, right? And I'm going to call this directory, let's name it something really simple like YouTube underscore PJ, that's for Python JavaScript, underscore Axios. So let's create that folder, right? Now we're going to cd in there. Okay, sorry, I actually almost made a another replica folder. So let's go ahead and cd in there like I was saying. Let's change this over here to cd. Great, so now we're in that folder. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and install a simple package called Axios, right? Now normally I would hit -- save, but I'm pretty convinced that the way folders are currently set up with the new update for Node, it should automatically save it as a dependency once I register the npm init. So again, we went ahead and said npm install Axios. Great. Now let's look into that folder and see if there was a great. So there was a package Json. So if we go ahead and open up that folder, which is right over here, and we head over to package lock. Now remember that this folder was once completely empty. It's actually opening up in Visual Studio instead of Visual Studio Code. So let me go ahead and exit that. If we check the node modules, we'll see Axios right over here. Great. So the interesting thing is, even though it technically was installed, right now it's in our node module. So what's the significance of that? Well, I'm going to show you. Let me first see if I'll be able to open up Visual Studio Code right in terminal. Not yet. I'd have to install that path extension. So for right now, I'll just do it the old traditional way. We'll open up the folder, head right over to desktop. And if I head over to desktop, I'll see this folder. So that's the folder I want to open up. Let's go ahead and X this out for now. I'll open up the terminal. Let's make this bigger. And let me show you how this works. So if we head over to Axios, again, it's awesome. We have our package that was installed. It comes with this library. Right, we've got a license, index, this is how it's getting exported, and all this is not really necessary, but if you ever want to click through it, sometimes I find it interesting. So let's go ahead and now make sure everything's working. So we've got the redirects, cool. We've got the requires, this, resolve, the Axios, awesome. Now the important thing is we need a regular package JSON file, and the way that we do that is I pretty much want this to be saved within my dependencies, right? Right now it's in our node modules. So if I do npm init, just go ahead and press enter. Awesome. So now, as you can see the difference, one was package dash lock.json. This one's just package.json. And if we check over here, we'll see that, awesome, we've got YouTube as the name of our folder here. Version, great. Description, great. Index.js, which I'd probably just go ahead and create that file right after this. Now, dependencies. For this area, we have Axios already there. So it already knew to go ahead and check right over here and say, all right, you know what? Let me initialize this with this dependency. Currently, I have an empty object for dev dependencies, but we're not there yet. Let's take it all one step at a time. Over here, I am now ready to use Axios. So the first thing I want to do is, one, let me go ahead and access the API that I actually want to hit, because we are going to be doing an API call. So let's say, for example, here you can see a huge list of free APIs. Let's see, what do they have? Animals, news, music, emails. All right, so I like email. Awesome. So this one's requiring authentication. Great. Hand curated Chuck Norris jokes. That's funny. REST API for corporate buzzwords. That sounds pretty cool. Corporate bullshit is the icing on the cake. Proof that not even the business world takes the business world seriously. People get annoyed about it, but they don't do anything. I like this. So I made this lovely little corporate bullshit generator to randomly pick out phrases which can help you, or which can help your application get ahead in the industry where spin, buzzwords, and vagueness reign supreme. I love this guy's sense of humor. So awesome that his core is enabled, which means cross origin. See if I can remember the R. The R might stand for request. No. Cross origin. I think it might be request. Site. Yeah, I have to look it up. I don't remember what course it was. The exact. Okay, so cross origin resource sharing. Okay. And this is an HTTP header-based mechanism that allows the server to indicate any origins. It pretty much allows us to like communicate with other computers with permission. Okay, indicate any origins, okay, other than its own, from which a browser should permit loading resources. We might watch a few videos on this later on tonight. Anyways, so I've got my API. Awesome. Now I want to jump right into this folder here. I want to create a file. Of course, I gave you guys a hint. We're going to call it index.js. And I'm just going to go ahead and allow Axios to be imported from the module the old school common JS way, which is pretty much const Axios. We'll set that equal to requires. Yeah, I think it's just require actually. And we'll say Axios. Awesome. So now we pretty much have access to Axios. So what we want to do here is, most people would just start saying Axios.get, but no, we want to do this the industry standard way. So the way that we do that is I would create another variable, right? We're going to call this variable response, and we're going to set that equal to an anonymous function, but not just any anonymous function. We're going to set that equal to an asynchronous anonymous function. Yes, I love it too. All right, awesome. So now we've got the arrow syntax, great, curly brackets, we're coming down, awesome. Now you would think that we're just gonna do the Axios request here, right? No, you're wrong again. we are now going to do a beautiful try catch block, right? So let me just get some of that structure out already. So catch, that's gonna have parentheses, and awesome there. We can go ahead and throw in the error. Love it. Well, I didn't tell you console.log error now. All I said was error, right? Okay, and then here you can console.log the error. So within the actual body. So this is just saying console.error, which is probably, you know, one of the properties of the console object, but I'm just gonna do what I'm comfortable doing, which is just console.log error, right? I'm not going to try to be fancy here. All right, awesome. So we've got that part here, and I'm going to show you what goes up here. Cool. This closes. This closes. Marks the end of our asynchronous function. So here is the interesting part, right? Right within a try block, a few things happen. First, we're going to go ahead and, yep, you guessed it, create another variable. This one we're going to call res, just so that we don't confuse it with the one above. And we're going to assign this a value of Axios finally, right? But not just any Axios. It's going to be an await, right? So await Axios, bam. Now I can post in that beautiful URL I just had. Awesome. So great, the URL is in there. And now normally I would attach a dot then for this promise, but not here. I don't really need to do that. I can really just go like this, and actually, just to make sure that this gives me exactly what I'm looking for, I'm gonna say axios.get. There you go. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is something marvelous, which is I'm going to console.log res, because I still have access to it technically, because I just create the variable and we're still in the try block. But do I just want res? No, I want the data object within res. So res.data, because what Axios does is it already transforms this from the JSON data, or the the string sort of JSON format, which is unreadable in JavaScript, to a JavaScript object that we can actually read now. And great, so that's console.log here. Awesome. We've got our catch block. Great. Now one more thing is, this is a function, right? Absolutely. So if it's a function, let me go ahead and do that just for best practices. If it's a function, then the most important thing you want to also do is, oh, don't do that. All right. So another thing you want to also do is invoke the function, right? So response, bam, awesome. So let's go ahead and do that. And if I go ahead and hit F5, I'm going to launch it in Node.js. Look at that. We've got our response sitting right here, all beautiful, right? Phrase. Monotonectically. Monotonectically initiate granular sources. I'm fucking dead, as New Yorkers would say, because this makes absolutely no sense, but it makes some sense, but I would never use this in the corporate world. Anyways, this is pretty cool because we were able to get like a request, and if we go ahead and run our program again, monotonectically procrastinate user-friendly customer service. This is hilarious. All right, give me a second. Globally grow high payoff e-business. Interesting. Phrase. Competently develop agile imperatives. Now that's something that one of these roles would say to you. That's hilarious. Quickly synergize revolutionary methods of empowerment. Well, as you can see, this is the structure that you want to be using, and it's pretty easy. So let's go Axios. You cannot use a regular fetch within Node, right? Because that's a Chrome, like not Chrome, but a browser tool, right? So you can either use Node-fetch, which you also have to install, or you can use Axios. Now Axios is pretty ubiquitous because we can use it in the front end. I use it with React as well. We can use it as a back end. Like, I like to keep things pretty consistent. So hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. This Dr. Python JavaScript. We're going to have videos all the time. I want you guys ready to kill that interview and get hired, and make sure you're feeding your family. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Watch my next video.